and welcome back to episode 142 of Talkoffamepod podcast with the host, Kylie Montigney, and today we have on the amazing Alyssa Ustby. She's a basketball player for the University of North Carolina. Thanks so much for joining, Alyssa.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited.
I'm so excited to chat. How did you get started in basketball? Like, how did you kind of get started? Like, did you have family or anything that kind of helped, like, made you start it, or was this just on your own?
Yeah, my family is very sports oriented. From a young age, I always hung out with my three older brothers, and all they were really interested were sports. And so
Mhm.
that was my biggest way to bond with them and just connect with each other as siblings. So I started just picking up the basketball in the driveway, shooting on our kind of like half broken hoop. And then I also played other sports. I played soccer and softball. So I was really just a competitive girl who loved to play whatever sport it was. It didn't really matter if it was basketball or not. It's just anything that was competitive kind of drew me into it. And my brothers helped grow that into a passion.
Like that's how I was as well. Like I grew up with a twin brother, so obviously he plays sports, baseball, basketball. He grew up playing, and so he plays baseball now. But I always grew up kind of at a baseball field or a basketball stadium or whatever, basically playing sports. Because my family is very sports oriented as well. Because I was always at a baseball field or basically out like playing sports with my brother or his friends. Like I was always that way. But like why did you kind of commit to University of North Carolina? For like me and my family, we're big University of North Carolina fans. So like why did you kind of commit to that team in the college? Because it's such an amazing college, right?
hmm Yeah, there's a lot of factors that went in my choice for a college. Um, One of them was going somewhere that I felt that the team, the program, and just the school in general had a great opportunity to win a conference championship and a national championship. And then the next thing I would say that drew me in were the academics. I think the University of North Carolina has an incredible balance of both sports and academics. So that was a really big factor for me. And then the icing on the cake was that the coaching staff was great. Their vision for my career matched really well. And so I knew that I would have a great opportunity to succeed here. And then once I came on my official visit, I got to meet all the teammates that I would be with, and I fell in love with them since. They're just absolutely amazing people. And I can't imagine being anywhere else. I've just absolutely enjoyed my experience and wouldn't have it any other way.
Like I know you're in like your junior year, your season is like ended a couple of days ago in March Madness. What was it like playing March Madness? Like was this your first time playing or was it like you played there multiple times in March Madness?
Yeah, so our team has been to the March Madness tournament in the last 3 years. My first year, we lost in the first round. My second year, we made it to the Sweet 16. And then this year, we lost in the round of 32. But all three March Madness experiences were quite literally what the title is, March Madness. They're just exciting games of basketball. There's a great fan base that has been growing around women's basketball, which has been exciting, and it's been a really cool experience to be a part of that and to help grow the game for future generations of girls. But it's just a great time to play in postseason. Only the best teams are still playing in March, so I was just really honored to be on a team that was able to be recognized in that way. And yeah, it's a dream come true because I remember seeing the March Madness tournament on my TV in my living room when I was a little girl, and never did I think that I would be in that position. But it's a lot of hard work and commitment. I made it here.
For sure. Like with March Madness, like it's such one of the best tournaments, not only in basketball, college basketball, but throughout sports. Like my family, especially me, my brother, and my dad, have been watching it like every single day. Like it was just such a big thing. Like with my family, we love watching any sports games. Like whenever we have free time, we just watch basketball or baseball or football. We watch anything. But like, what would you say is like the best part about playing basketball for UNC? Like, what do you think is like your favorite part about it?
I would say my favorite part is actually off the court, and it's the community that surrounds UNC. I think a lot of people who root for UNC are kind of drawn in by its athletics, and that has brought in just a diverse, passionate, like group of people. And so I've made a lot of friends within like the Chapel Hill community, which is where the University of North Carolina is located. And those families kind of taken me in as their own. As being someone who's from Minnesota, coming to North Carolina is a far ways to leave my family. So just building that community and having people that support me no matter how I perform on the court has really made my experience all worthwhile. And then even when we have camps for younger girls in the summer, that is one of my favorite parts because I get to look at girls that I was once in their shoes, and I can try to guide them and give them as much advice as possible for those who want to pursue not only Division I athletics, but just any of their passions in general.
And like I wanted to ask you, like as like a woman in basketball, like what is like the toughest part about playing like kind of basketball as a woman? Like with being in women's sports, like no one like likes to cover. Like women's basketball, do you often like to cover men's basketball or men's sports? Like what is kind of your experience like? Because like when I go to like basketball games for women, there's always like less people there, like there's always less people like fans there in men's sports.
Yeah, I mean, that's a great question. And that's kind of a battle that has been fought for a long time. But I've just been inspired to keep playing basketball and just fully embracing that I'm a woman in a more male dominated sport,
Mm-hmm.
uh, just to help make the experience of the girls of the next generations to follow a little bit better than what mine was. So whatever mine is, just as long as it's a little bit better for them, then I've done my job on leaving an impact on women's basketball. But I understand what you're saying. Like I feel like I've been to different restaurants around town and I'll just see just like all male sports. And it's kind of a bummer when I look at it because the grind and the work that you put in is the same experience that the men put in. And it's just kind of unfortunate that's how it's been for a while. But I'm at peace knowing that I'm trying to do my part and make the women's basketball game grow as much as it can.
And like, how do you stay motivated? Like, I know as like a female in sport or anyone that's in like in sports or entertainment or whatever can lose a lot of motivation in their work and are stressed and stuff. I know for me, I also got less motivated and work hard each day. But then like you're like, oh my God, like how am I supposed to keep motivated in what I love? Like, how do you kind of stay motivated in that?
Yeah, there's a few ways I stay motivated. One is to set goals and have like small goals that are attainable to kind of keep me going. And then another motivation is again, I keep saying it, but to inspire the next little girl that wants to play basketball. That's one of my biggest motivations. And it's been really cool to see. There have been quite a few girls at some of my games this year who have been wearing a number one Ustby jersey. So that's the jersey I wear. And to see a little girl so excited to come to the game and watch me play is all the motivation I need. Because as a little girl, only having brothers, it was great to look up to my brothers, but I always wish that I had a girl role model. And so for anybody that I can be that for, I want to do that. And so that's really my biggest motivation.
Like I love that because like when you see someone like wearing your jersey, whether it's like your family, friends, or like your like fans, like it's like the best feeling when you see your jersey number or people that's wearing your shirt doesn't necessarily with your face on. Because I know a lot of people oftentimes wear their face on a shirt, which is actually amazing to see. But like when you see people wearing your shirts or supporting you is actually the best feeling because that actually keeps me motivating. I know it keeps me motivating when I see people talk about it or see people supporting or whatever, but it's like it really kind of helps you keep doing what you love and help other people grow as well.
Absolutely.
Like if basketball players are trying to get a recruiter, whether it's like men or women basketball, like how can they stand out? Like how can I stand out to recruiters?
I think the best way are sometimes the things that can be found off the court, which are, for example, like if you're sitting on the bench, that's probably the biggest example is having good body language, constantly cheering on your teammates. And even carrying that attitude throughout the game. Like if a play doesn't go your way, like don't shrug your shoulders and get all distraught and start treating your teammates poorly because you messed up and had a bad play. That's important to a lot of coaches. And I know that our coaches mention that a lot when they see a recruit. They're like, wow, she has so much skill and so much potential, but her body language and her attitude just isn't there. And why that's so important is that coaches will always be able to teach you a new skill or teach you watch film with you and say, oh, if you want to do a pick and roll, look for the pass to the 3-point line for this person. This person might be open if you draw a defender. Like they can teach you the X's and O's, but you can't teach someone the willingness to have good body language, to be a good teammate, and to just be a good person. And so that's the biggest thing for me because when I was going through basketball and getting recruited, I was never the best player on the team. And but the one thing I knew for sure is I was going to hustle. I was going to cheer my teammates on, give them a high five when they score, and just like celebrate others. So I think that's a thing that you kind of like, you're like, oh no, that they wouldn't really care about that. Yes, it's a big factor.
That's actually so true. It's like when you stand out in the recruiting process, from my experience with my family, my brother, for my friends, like I know like coaches kind of don't really focus on like the how you play. Like of course it's a big factor, but it's like they really kind of focus on your attitude and what you play, like how you play. Because the
Yeah.
attitude, the way you play and the way you treat your teammates is kind of like a big pros and cons to getting recruited is if they see how you treat others and yourself or the way you kind of react to situations, then that's going to make you less and less chance of getting recruited, whether it's basketball, baseball, or whatever it is.
Yes, exactly.
And like recently, you've been awarded as an Olympic and regional finalist. Like, how did that feel to kind of be awarded that?
It feels amazing. I had really no idea that I would be able to like achieve this award. And I didn't really have a specific goal set out for it. I just knew that if I worked hard, if I stayed committed to bringing my best self every day to practice and to games, then whatever happened, whatever awards would come. So I wasn't really stressed out about it, but to get it was just like, oh, that's nice. That's pretty cool. So yeah, very grateful for that experience and just really blessed that I'm at the university that I am with my teammates and coaches because they're the ones that really deserve the credit for helping me get to where I am today, whether that was teaching me skills on the court, teammates helping me through just like personal life experiences or issues. So I really have a huge supporting cast that makes me who I am.
Like, what do you think is like the main kind of goal in succeeding? Like, do you think it's like the coaches, family, friends? Like, what do you think is the main success factor in like working with on basketball or just like life in general? What do you think is like the main factor in succeeding or support?
I feel like that's the $1 million question. Um, but I would say being a good person and treating people with respect, because without that, I wouldn't have people like reaching out to help me, reaching out to check on me. Um, and because ultimately when I'm at my best self is when I'm able to take feedback and be coached by my coaches and other teammates. So if I'm not my best self, I'm not going to be able to understand and fully take that information in, process it, and perform it on the court. So it really does, for me, goes back to just spreading positivity, and that positivity will come back to you. And I'm a big believer in if you give out good, you'll receive good.
That's for sure. But it's like whatever like you're doing like something you love, like you can't succeed if you don't get advice from others. Like whether it's as your coworkers, teammates, or like even for a podcast or like entertainment, like doing interviews, like you can ask people like, hey, can I do something different? Like how can I make a difference in becoming better at whatever I'm doing? Like whether like just trying to succeed, it's whether or not you're willing to take feedback from others. Like even if it's like negative, I got negative feedback so many times. Even it can be very hurtful. Don't get me wrong, it definitely can be very hurtful. But like that's like the way to kind of grow, not only in your work but yourself. You're oftentimes thinking like, how can I grow as a person, or how can I grow my career, or how can I make a difference in my community or my family or friends? Like, how can I really do that?
Definitely. It's really important to have people around you and a part of your journey to help you reach your full potential. So
Mm,
that's spot on.
And a couple of days ago, we like you scored your 1,000 career points, which was March Madness. It was also on your birthday, right?
Yes.
That's amazing. Like, what day can that be? Like, better than on your birthday. But like, what did you kind of you like? How did you feel in that moment when you scored your 1,000 career points?
It was kind of like a full circle moment. I felt like it was just an experience that I'll never forget because I'm with my teammates that I go to war with every single day as we're trying to get better and make each other better. I also had my dad and brother in the stands, which was really cool because they've been a part of my journey since I was born. So it was a really cool experience and I'm really grateful for it. And then we also got a win that day as well. That was the first round of the March Madness tournament, which was an absolute blast. And to be able to celebrate with my teammates, there's just nothing like it.
Like, was your both brothers there, or was this one of your brothers there at the March Madness game?
Yeah, so it's just one brother at this game this time, but I have a total of three older brothers that continually support me throughout my career.
That's amazing. And like, how do you like? I know like you are in the off season right now. I know basketball's still playing, but how do you kind of train during the off season to get ready for like next year for basketball season?
So one of the biggest things is rest. Resting is a verb, my athletic trainer likes to say, just because I mean this translates to high school seasons as well. But the collegiate season in my case is so long that you need to take a mental, physical, emotional break from just basketball in general. So these past like few weeks after we lost in the tournament has been me kind of reconnecting with myself, finding hobbies that I used to enjoy that I just didn't have time for during the season because of school and all the other responsibilities that come with being a student athlete. And then just spending time with my teammates outside of practice and really just bonding and creating new friendships with other people on campus and other sports teams as well has been really helpful. But eventually, once we get to like a couple more weeks, I'll probably pick up training in the off season. And what I like to do is to find a trainer wherever I am. So whether that's in North Carolina and Minnesota, and I'll just get shots up with a trainer and work on my skills and just kind of fine tune whatever I can with the time given before the following season starts.
Like I know like what you said earlier is that like you try to kind of take care of yourself, like, and basically trying to make time for others and talk, like build more bonds and stuff. Like, how do you balance like school, basketball, and your personal relationships outside of basketball? Because for me, like it can be very difficult from like to balance your work and school at the same time. I'm only a sophomore in high school, so it can be very difficult in trying to do what you love and trying to hang out with friends or try to do school. Like, how do you balance that?
It's That's like the biggest challenge of being a student athlete. And I still feel like I haven't figured it out yet, but I've started to find ways to make sure I'm like getting my schoolwork done, getting extra shots up in the gym, performing well, remembering to eat full meals so I have energy to sustain myself throughout that entire day. Go to bed early enough. And I mean, sometimes my days will start at like 7 a.m. when I have to get up for class, and then I won't be back home until almost 9 p.m. That's just like encapsulates my whole entire day of school, basketball, social life, and just trying to maintain like relationships and friendships and not be so consumed by my responsibility of school and basketball because having that balance is really important for my mental health specifically. Um, so it's very difficult, but I've been finding ways and will continue to improve as time goes on.
And the last thing I have for you is like, what is some advice for upcoming basketball players that want to make it to D1 colleges, not just like North Carolina, but like different like colleges across the US, like Penn State, UConn are different big D1 programs.
I would say to invest in yourself early. So in high school, sacrificing going out to a party on a Saturday night, maybe go to the gym, like maybe ask a buddy, like, hey, you want to go get some shots up? You want to go play one-on-one, or you want to go play horse? Something that um kind of helps you get that edge over other people. Um, Not because that's the goal, but because that's going to help you in the long run. If you start to invest more time into yourself and into a specific skill that you can be good at, whether it's basketball, another sport, or another skill, just sacrificing things that you um, can to help push your priority forward, which mine was always basketball. So a lot of times I said no to hanging out to friends in high school because I went and just shot with my dad at the gym. So putting in the time early is really important.
And by the way, before we end this, like, right, did you paint that picture behind you or?
I did paint this.
Oh, that's really nice. I love that. I
Thank
saw it.
you.
I'm like, oh my God, I had to ask her about that. It's so nice.
Thanks so much. Yeah, I did a while ago. It was really fun. I think I might take up painting as a new hobby, but I just did that one for fun one day. Um, and I haven't done it since, but I might take it up.
Yeah, you definitely should. It looks amazing. Like I
Thank
wish
you.
I could be that talented in
Oh
drawing and
God.
painting. Like I'm not that talented in painting like that.
Oh, you're so sweet. Thanks.
Yeah, so thank you so much for coming on the podcast. I really appreciate for you taking the time and coming on. I love chatting with you and just keep up the great work. I can't wait to watch you next season. I have to come out to North Carolina or something, watch you play. I definitely have to do that for sure. And just thank you so much for joining. I really appreciate it and love chatting.
Thank you so much. Yeah, you definitely have to come to a game. That would be awesome. But thank you for
Hmm.
having me on.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. I'll talk to you soon.
Sounds good. See ya.
Bye.